Thank you for joining us today at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we'll be painting our Ultramodern Contractor squad. This was made by Enemy Spotted Studios for their game of Kill Wager. So we'll be painting this guy, but in the background painted all these guys at the same time. So we've gone for, even though they're Western weapon systems and supposed to be the Western contractors, I went for a East European paint scheme there. So like, I don't know, someone in Eastern Europe who's given Western style weapons. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started painting these guys. And to do that, I primed them standard Mechanicus gray. Used almost all Army Painter paints. So Cultist Robe, Scaly hide, Necromancer Cloak, Matte Black, Angel Green, Wolf Gray, Barbarian Flesh, and Ash Gray. Use some Vallejo Glossy Black. Also Army Painter Matte White. Okay, and out of the Citadel line, use the Stirland Mud, the Nuln Oil, and the Reikland Fleshshade. And out of the contrast lines, used Space Wolf Gray. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started on this guy. Oh wait, did I remember? I put pure red. I had an Army Painter pure red. Alright, now let's go get started. So the model is dry after being primed standard Mechanicus gray. And I am going to take some Army Painter Cultist robes and a brush that's just frayed and softened apart. And we're just going to hit this guy all over. Now I'm going to texture the base, so I'm going to use some Stirland Mud, but glue and sand would work just fine here too. And I just want a very thin coat. I'm going to make it thin, so I want like a gravelly asphalt appearance to this. So you see I was just pulling and hitting the lip with the base. I'm going to use some Army Painter Scaly hide, and I'm going to take my dry brush here. It's starting to fall apart. Get a little bit of paint, and I've got a paper towel off, and I'm going to wipe it off till it appears that no paint's coming off. And then I'm just going to kind of hit down. There we go. I'll just give it a little interest there. Now we're going to take some Necromancer Cloak here. And what I'm going to use this on is the knee pads, basically the various webbing and armor here. And the gloves. You got all these thin little straps. Alright, now we're going to switch to black. So this is Army Painter Matte Black, and this is just going to be for the boots. So I want all the different dark materials to have just slightly different colors to them. This is a way to show that the boots are a different leather than what would probably be the composite fibers of the webbing in the body armor. So, neat job. Next I'm going to paint the helmet. for that, I'm going to use Army Painter Angel Green. I was looking at some of the uniforms of the Russia. I noticed this looks similar to one used by the airborne forces, and they have a dark green helmet. So I thought, okay, let me paint it Angel Green, since this is supposed to be my Eastern contract. That's looking pretty good, coming together. Now for the fun part, we're going to take some Army Painter Wolf Gray. It's going to be very difficult to show on this model. But they have little optic lenses, so we're going to take our little tiny brush. Alright, so I'll show you how messy my... Dip it, wipe it off. This makes the point of the brush flat again, and we take the tip, and we'll just go like that. Swipe it from the inside to the outside of the lens. You don't have to fill the lens or anything. I'm just trying to get the shape in there, what the lens looks like. Yeah. This is for when I wash it. Alright, now I'm going to put my first wash on it. I'm going to use some Nuln Oil. Getting a little low here. Alright, so take a brush that I've already messed up, and we'll just go and get this all on here. Spray it around. Nice thick coat. So you can see, like, the little dash we put in the eye, you don't have to worry about it being perfect to the optic because the glass, because we're just going to put the wash on and we just want a little bit of color peeking out, which is what we got. Just want kind of like the reflection from it. Okay, there we go. Now it's going to take a while for that to dry. Now we're going to do some Barbarian flesh, and this is actually, I think in these I only found like one model that looked like it had its sleeves rolled up. Otherwise, I think the only parts that are exposed are the fingers and the gloves. So get those. This is why I'm using my smallest brush and working very carefully. We're going to do the weapon system in its own color here in a moment. So we want to move slowly and cautiously. You can find the fingertips in the sculpt. Don't rush at this point. I don't have to go back and touch up the gloves, that would be a pain. Okay. And this hand, left thumb on all these do seem kind of small. Yeah. Now we're going to work on his rifle there, so we're going to use some Vallejo Glossy Black. And just carefully work around the fingers. Just going to do the stock, scope, and there's like little laser sights there. Now I'm going to use some ash gray, and I'm just going to paint the base. This is an easy one. Now I just use my good brush. Well, it still is my good brush. Before I beat it to heck, to paint around the feet. Then I'll use a sloppy brush, just grind it into this grit. Now we're going to take some Reikland Fleshshade. If you're wondering why I painted up the NATO armed guys It's supposed to be the Western powers for Kill Wager with in Russian colors. It's because I was going to use these guys for like a Ukraine motif. So a lot of their colors are still in that shade. Actually, their colors are all over the place given the donations. So there we go. That's why. And Kill Wagers is near future. Colors change. So, alright, let's let that dry. Now we're getting close to the end and we're just going to do some detail work. So we're going to take some matte white. We're going to take our littlest brush here. And so I'm going to dip it in the paint. Then put the brush down and pull back on it. And I'm going to put little dots in the goggles. Little stripe dot. There we go. Then I'm going to take the white and I'm going to take this flat of the brush. And gloss it up a little bit. Get to make it look like light's reflecting. There we go. See how dry that is. Yeah, it seems dry enough. Like the ghostly look in the goggles. Now we're going to take some pure red. And I'm going to look 2 spots here. I'm going to get my tiny brush. I'm going to get big bulb. Just going to tap it in to the scope and to the little laser sight, which, where is it? There we go. Got that going. That's cool. Should probably do it on the back of the scope. There. There. Excellent. Alright, now to finish up the base, I'm going to take some Contrast Spacefuls Gray. And I am going to gloop a ton of this stuff on here. Let me get my sloppy brush out. Now the purpose of this is it goes on the gray, makes something that I think passes in an urban environment. Also, the blue makes it look like it can work for like infinity. So I make a lot of my ultramodern, near future and far future guys on this color base. That way, it seems like it might work in all those environments. Who knows? That's the hope. Alright, nice thick slot on there. See, got a good asphalt look. So we're going to let that dry and pick a rim for your base, something for your squad. That's a pretty individualistic choice there. Well, thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.